Welcome, this is Carrie Shell from On Point Quilter. Hopefully this weekend I will be at a quilt retreat, and one of the techniques that I decided I wanted to try was creating a modern hexagon quilt. And so I needed to create my design in Electric Quilt, and I'm going to share with you how to do that. On the home screen, select New Project and label this Modern Hexagons and select OK. Select Design a Quilt from Scratch and select a new quilt, and in the ribbon toolbar select One Patch. Go to the Layout tab and under Patch Style select the Hexagons Horizontal. That's the one with the H after it. And we're going to be setting 1-inch hexagons on top of this, so select the background edge length at 1.125. If you are not able to input 1.125, select Worktable Options. That's the gears on the left. Select Snap Settings. Under the Nudge settings, you're going to want to click on the drop box next to both of those settings, and you're going to want to make sure that it is at least 1/8 of an inch, and then select OK. Under Number of Units, select 6 horizontal and 10 vertical. Go to the Border tab, and for the first border we're going to keep that at a 1-inch long horizontal. But we're going to add a second border, make it the style mitered, and we're going to change the size to 0.375. Then go to the Design tab, select Fabric Tools, and I decided to just use a white to color the inside. So the easiest thing is just to do a swap color, and then I'm going to select a gray for the binding or mitered border and select Add to Project Sketchbook. Now select the block worktable and select a new block, Pieced PolyDraw block. Select the circle grid and change the number of rings to 4 and change the number of spokes to 12. Select the Polyline tool and go out to the last full ring and double click on the intersection. Follow that full ring and go over 2 spokes and do a single click. Continue going around the ring, single clicking at every other spoke until you're back at the first point and double click on that. Go to the Color tab and let's select a gray. Color the block and select Add to Project Sketchbook. Select the Quilt worktable and select Layer 2. Under Block Tools, select Set Block, go to the end and drag the hexagon on the quilt. Select it with the Adjust tool, and if the edge is 1 inch, that means the horizontal measurement for this is going to be 2 inches. Since the block the hexagon is set in is in square, change the width and the height both to 2. Move the patch so that it fills the first full hexagon in the middle column. Under Quilt Grid Setup, turn off Snap Block Position to Grid so that you can fine-tune the adjustment. And then I'm going to zoom in and just eyeball this for placement. Using Copy followed by Paste, we're going to create a column of 7 hexagons. With the Adjust tool, now click and hold and drag a box to completely enclose all of the hexagons. Then select Copy, Paste, and move the group of hexagons to the right and try to get those centered in that next set of hexagons from the background. Now, to make individual adjustments, we will need to release the hold on everything and use the arrow keys on our keyboard to fine-tune adjustments of the individual block. For smaller movements with the arrow key, select the Quilt Worktable options. Under the snap settings, change the nudge settings to 1/32 of an inch and select OK. And now I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to fine-tune the placement. With the Adjust tool, drag a box to enclose all of the hexagons and do one additional copy-paste and move those to the right. Fine-tune the placement by selecting individual hexagons and using the arrow keys on the keyboard. Now I'm going to drag a box and completely enclose just one column, do a copy-paste, and then clean up the placement of those hexagons. Continue to copy and paste to create 5 additional columns that are going to go up towards that center. Okay, now I think when I actually make this, I'm going to use ombre fabrics. But rather than dealing with the whole fussy cut, I'm going to just do some shadings using colors. So select Fabric Tools, and let's just start by selecting a green. To create the shading, start with a light color on the bottom, and then just go one to the left for each of the next colors for the column of hexagons. Use the same colors and repeat for the right column. Select 4 different colors and repeat the process for the other columns. Once the hexagons are colored, select Hide Show Quilt Patch Lines, followed by Add to Sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully I have inspired you to create your own modern hexagon quilt using electric quilt. If you create a design, feel free to share it in the Learning EQ Facebook group. For additional tips and techniques, please subscribe to my weekly newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com.